of the Flinders Park Footy Club, live now on webcast, or on webcast eventually.
Yep.
The great man Sean Jackson, welcome back to the show.
Thanks guys, great to be here.
Great to have you here, my friend. Now,
You didn't bring Justin Bieber with you this time.
No, he was playing this morning, so I left him at half time. So that's how dedicated I am. They were a draw actually at half time. So
Now, that week on the weekend's very impressive win has taken you out of the ulcer zone known as the relegation zone, and at 3 and 6, not beyond the realms of possibility, finals are certainly still an option.
yeah, I like to think so. We're probably in both zones at the moment. We're 3 sides on 3 and 6. But you know, after 2 good wins, we start to reassess where we're at, I suppose. And we've had a look at the premiership table and can see Mobbery on 5.5 at the halfway mark. So we sort of think between 6 and 7 wins out of the back 9 will get us there. So look, it's certainly not going to be easy, but today, if we can win today, we'll give us a good shot at it, I think.
Well, if you win today, you get a chance to have another crack at Portland. Now, I mean, we covered the Portland game on Anzac Day for Grassroots and talked about it a lot here. It was a great game. It was one of those games, it really was one that just slipped away, wasn't it?
I don't think he wants to be reminded of that.
I was trying to forget actually. And for those who are interested out there, I've bought a calculator, so there'll be no issues with that this time. And no, we're looking forward to playing them again in a couple of weeks' time, but we've got 2 games before that. So Uni today and PAC next week.
Yeah, so won't it be interesting if Kilburn do get promoted next year and coming up against you, you know, they aren't very good at counting, you clearly aren't very good at counting. It's a very interesting game.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, that was a shock of the day, but let's not go over it. Who wants to be reminded of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about the game on the weekend. I mean, Old Iggy's, they've actually caused some upsets this year, so it must have been great to knock them off by 96 points.
Yeah, interesting. You know, the last time we played out there was probably 3 years ago, I think, and the oval was, you know, full of weeds, and the change room was pretty poor. But they've spent a bit of money on the place down there, and it's starting to look a lot better. The oval could obviously still do a bit of work. It's got a few humps in it, but and there's a door that's still missing between the change rooms. So you're doing your pre-match, and the old boys walk through as you're talking. So it's a bit interesting. But look, I couldn't have been happy with the way we played. Probably 2 weeks in a row now we've had good wins, so the boys are feeling pretty confident. And yeah, as I said before, it sets us up for a bit of a crack at it now, and today's game will give us a good indication of where we're really at, I think.
I'll tell you what, I've noticed that Fuller's back into form.
Yeah.
Played well last week, and Sid's doing well too.
Yeah, and you know, they're the things that you don't understand if you're not involved in the club. Sid Whistle was nursing a broken hand for about 4 or 5 weeks, and he's now over that. So he's playing good footy. Jake missed the first 4 games of the year, and then we'll play 1 in the B, so he's been back in the A's for 4 weeks, and he's getting better each week. Justin Keatley didn't play early in the year, and he's a really important part of our defence. So we're starting to put it together better on the field. We've still got a few blokes to come back into the side. Matty King has hardly played. He played last week, but he certainly adds a little bit to us, or a lot to us, with his run and dash. So yeah, I think
He must have done all right. He got the best players.
Yeah, he was terrific last week. Yeah, absolutely.
Probably one person who's been a bit conspicuous. I expected big things from him. Maybe I'm not sure why. Just because he's huge. Is Jordan Dodman? Is he still playing in the A's?
He's still huge. Yeah.
He's still big. Yeah.
He hasn't got any smaller. He is. Yeah. He missed last week with a cork thigh, and you know everyone looks at poor old Jordan and expects the world from him because he's such a big boy, but he's still very raw in footy terms, and he's still learning the game. And he was one, you know, a bit like Nathan Wilson, who plays on a half-back flank and hadn't played for the last 2 years. He's only a kid, but just thought by the second half of the year they'd be a lot better. Yep. And so we've still got faith that Jordan will be really important for us, as is Nathan Wilson, in the second half of the year.
It was interesting, one of the games I saw, he draws 2 people against him. When the ball goes up forward, he draws 2, so that means that leaves one of your guys free.
Yeah, correct. And we didn't handle that too well in a few games. You know, the Portland game, PAC game. You know, there was obviously a lot of talk out there about Jordan and his size and how important he would be. And so you're correct. There are a few sides of zone and extra player off, and we didn't handle that at all well. And I think we're getting better at that now. And Jake's up there, who wasn't up there early. So
if he can't mark it, so he's learning the game, which we all know, but he brings the ball down.
He does. He doesn't get outmarked too often, though.
No, but if it comes to the ground, it's having that extra man free, to snap.
Are you available at 2 o'clock this afternoon? Just do a bit of coaching for Flinders Park, and I can sit in the bar.
pop over there.
He only hits
the
1 out of
the
3.
money,
The next 2
money's
things you say
right.
will be stupid.
No.
Like, so, yeah.
No, I mean
Do you want the coaching?
that's what it is. I mean, I watched the game against Portland, and that Anzac Day game, and I just thought, if they fed off him a little bit more,
Yeah.
he's a huge asset. I mean, he's drawing 2 players.
Yeah. Look, it's a work in progress for us. Early on, we were giving him a lot of room in the forward 50, and so when the ball hit the ground, that's not his strength. And so if he wasn't clunking them, then we were in a bit of trouble. So we've changed that up a little bit now, and as I said, hopefully that'll work a bit better for us in the second half of the year.
He's definitely not a ruckman.
He actually goes okay in the ruck.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah. Look, he didn't actually like to play ruck early on when he was a kid, or the last couple of years. But we had a bit of a talk about it a while ago, and we've played him in the ruck the last few games, and he's been.
It's pretty daunting unless you get a good coach, because the opposition's jumping straight at you, and some guys find that very intimidating.
Yeah, he
When
played
you're up
there.
forward, he's probably all his life through sport. He's always had that height, been a big advantage to him.
Yeah. I don't think anyone in their right mind would want to play ruck, would they?
No.
Hey, Jacko, who's the team to beat? It's because there's been a lot of talk all year about who's doing what and support districts before there, but Tea Tree Gully, they're not doing too much wrong, are they?
Yeah, I think it's 2 teams the clearly in front of everyone else, and that's Tea Tree Gully and Adelaide Uni.
Yep.
I think on a dry day, Adelaide Uni moved the ball exceptionally well. I said after we played them in round 1, even though we beat them, they moved the ball better than any side I'd seen in A1, out of the back half I'm talking. And if you look at their scores for and against, you'll see their points for aren't great. So that suggests to you they don't have anyone that's kicking a bag of goals each week. There's no one on their side that's averaging 2 goals a game after 9 games. So there's no clear-cut standout forward.
It's Marcus.
But at the other end...
a number of goal scorers, not individual ones.
Correct. And have a look at the points against. They are the side that's had the least scored against them.
By 100 as well,
Yeah.
So I mean that's...
So they not only defend well, they actually run the ball out extremely well. So the challenge for all the other sides is to try and combat that. The Tea Tree Gully on the other hand, I think they've got a better spread. They've got Eric Kells at full forward, season full forward. You've now got the fellow from South Adelaide's come back into their team. Well, I don't think he's playing today. Did see his name not in there this week, but he played last week. Huge asset for South Adelaide.
Who's that, sorry?
Mitch Sandry.
Okay, yeah.
So he's played 6 games of league footy this year, decided to retire and come back to Tea Tree Gully.
And then the likes of your Wicks, who's always going to be damaging with the ball in his hands, and and then others. And then you see Chambo kicking 11 in the C's. He'd be a handy forward pocket still. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I think you had Charlie Wintle in here a few weeks ago, and I think Charlie's been trying to get him out of Hope Valley. He's pretty disappointed to pick up the paper and see he kicked 11 goals.
What's the danger side in that is Port Districts.
Yeah.
They're starting to get their momentum going. They've recruited pretty well this year, and I can see them either Tea Tree Gully or Uni going down, and they're coming up in the 2nd spot.
Yeah, the only difference I suppose with Port Districts, I mean they've got some great power forwards. If John Cox starts putting it together, and they're going to be pretty hard to beat. Absolutely. The difference I suppose there is they've got a lot more experience and a lot of older fellas in their team. I think when we played them, they had 8 players over the age of 30 in their side. Now, if they can hold them all on the park and keep them injury free, well, they're going to be a power come finals time. There's no doubt about that.
All right, let's get on to this week's games. David, we'll start with the one that I think is probably the easiest, and that's Old Iggy's and Tea Tree Gully. So it's first versus 9th. It's at Old Iggy's, but that won't help. We've talked about Tea Tree Gully, and they'll be too strong. Should get up by about 10 goals, I think.
Yep.
Jacko?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Joe Pedler's still missing from the Old Iggy's team this week, so it's a big blow for them, and I think Tea Tree Gully will get up there.
Yep, Eastern Park and Prince Alfred. This one is at Thebbett Noble. Can Eastern Park get their first win of the year? I think not. Prince Alfred, despite the fact they're in 7th spot at 4 and 5, they're not the worst 7th team floating around, and I still rate them as able to beat anyone on their day, and I think they'll beat Eastern Park.
Yeah, I agree. They're actually 3 and 6. That's a misprint in the paper there. And their only 3 wins have been against Flinders Park, Eastern Park and Old Ignations, interestingly enough.
See,
But-
both publications have got them at 4 and 5.
Yeah, they're both wrong.
Okay, you're in the division.
But interesting enough,
about that.
I was really impressed the day we played them. Once again, they've got 3 very good power forwards.
Yep.
And I'm a bit surprised they've only won 3 games. They really impressed me the day we played them.
Did you? Yep.
Modbury Walkerville.
Yeah, Modbury Walkerville. Modbury again. They're another team. We can't quite get the form line going on. At 5-3 and a draw. They've leapfrogged Portland into the 5. Walkerville haven't done too much wrong with their disappointing last start against the Gullies at 6-3. I'd have to go with my old boys, even though it's at Modbury. Traditionally, over the years, Walkerville have played Modbury quite well, so I'm going to go Walkerville in a close one.
Not Modbury. Port District.
Hang on, can
Oh, sorry, Jacko. Oh, sorry, mate.
$500 somehow.
Yeah.
Luke?
Get a pay
I
rise.
think I'll go with Walkerville.
You can actually expand. You're actually going to give us some insight into it, and Breeny's just going
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What are you going with?
Well, look, having said that, is it at Modbury or Walkerville?
It's at Modbury.
Modbury.
At Modbury. Oh, okay. Well, I'll change my tip. I was really impressed with Modbury's hardness when they played us. And look, Walkerville got a good spread right over the oval. Managing their points is obviously a challenge for them. But if it's at Modbury, I think I'll go for Modbury.
See, great minds think alike.
Okay, first time round in round 1, Portland upset Port District. Port District with a highly fancy team, and this time at Port District will reverse it and reverse it comfortably with Portland's injuries mounting up and them sliding down the table. Port District for mine.
Yeah, I think there's a few injuries both sides, but I would suggest that Port Districts win that comfortably.
Yep.
Yeah, I concur with that. I think Port Districts might have a little bit more depth than Portland maybe to cover their injuries. Now I would think they'd be looking to make amends from round 1.
Yep.
Too right.
And just a spot on there, Jacko, because Port District sitting 5th in the reserves and Portland sitting 9th would suggest exactly that. And Flinders Park and Adelaide Uni, a bit of a game of the round because you're here, Jacko, but you talked about how impressive Adelaide Uni are in 2nd spot at 6-3. You guys are in 8th spot at 3-6. If you want to play finals, you're going to have to knock off one of the big two. There's no doubt about it. Today needs to be the day, but you've just told me how good they are, so I'm tipping Adelaide Uni.
Yeah,
Nice,
well,
that is. Nice.
yeah.
What do you think? We've got 9
I
minutes.
tipped
mate.
Adelaide Uni.
Okay, Adelaide Uni, yeah.
You have to go on form.
Yeah, you go on form, and the form is the last time we played and we beat them. So based on that,
No,
based on
premiership form I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Jacko.
Okay, yep. And well, that once again, that premiership table's wrong. We're not in 8th. We're in 7th position, so we're a little bit closer to them.
That's right, Cozy. You got a few of these things wrong, mate. Holy hell.
So yeah, I'll go for Flinders Park.
And your percentage is pretty good as well, 51.33.
Actually, it's a good
correct.
challenge for the boys today, isn't it?
Yeah,
For you
yeah.
guys. Home ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
And guys, this is a do or die.
Nice.
Yeah, that was feeling pretty good about themselves. So no
Now,
excuses.
because Dave goes off on a tangent and dribbles a lot of crap sometimes, we've run out of time, Jacko. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before you go and weave your magic?
Look,
these new
just
assistant
wanted to mention our sponsors again because they're obviously the
Lifeblood.
the lifeblood of every footy club. Seaview Hill Estates are still our major sponsor, and we picked up a couple of new sponsors this year: Electronic Eye Security and Tram Rail and Bus Union. And Fairmont Homes come on board last year as a sponsor, and
The union, there was a bit of controversy over that one.
you can't hurt me. I'm part of the union.
Yeah.
Always. Jacko, thanks very much for being on the show. It's always a pleasure, always entertaining, and always great knowledge of things that we don't even know. Things like the ladder being wrong. We'll follow that one up.
No.
Wish you the best of luck today against Adelaide Uni, and I'll be barracking for you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, mate.
All right, I'm going to fly into Division 1 results.